Welcome back to another episode of Not Just Another Story. This week, I'm delighted to introduce Jamie Maverick. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad. Thank you very much for having us on. Looking forward to boring you about certain battle rap topics for the next hour or two. So, but yeah,
Hey,
really happy
mate.
to come on. Cheers for having us.
I'm really glad that you made time coming on, mate. Like I say, it's very hard to get guests onto the show as well. So having something so unique as well, especially in like the northeast of England, I would say as well. It'd be interesting just obviously pick your brains on it and dive a bit deeper just for the audience listening as well. So jumping straight into it then, mate. How did you get into rap battling? Because it, like I mentioned, it's very unique.
Yeah, it is. It is an interesting one, especially in the northeast of England, because, like you say, I maybe know like 6 or 7 battle rappers from the northeast of England, and a lot of them are not active anymore, or kind of just do music instead. So it's super niche up here. But in terms of my story, my personal story, like I always loved rapping from like an early age. Like very first couple of CDs my parents bought me when I was like talking 7 or 8 years old was Eminem's Encore album and 50 Cent fucking Get Rich Die Trying soundtrack that like on me Walkmans, and like I would sit and write down all the lyrics and then like revise them and then like go back. So I've just always had this like big thing about rapping, and then obviously I got into MC when I got a little bit older and like learned a lot about the monkey and started MCing. So yeah, it was just fucking. It was like it was weird because I started to hear people with my accent flowing over a beat, and then I was like, oh, I'm interested in actually like writing my own lyrics. So I would start writing my own lyrics on the way to school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then grime kind of had this big rise when I was maybe about 11 or 12, like Dizzy Rascal, Gets, and then I just got obsessed with that sort of scene. So I always had this like huge love for rapping, but then like I loved the monkey, but I was kind of like, oh, I wish there was like a rapper from the northeast I could listen to. So
Yeah.
I searched Geordie rapper on YouTube at the time, and this guy called Seuss, called Max Gavins, and he goes under the name Max Gavins Music now, I think. He came up in a rap battle versus a kid from Manchester. So I was like, what's this? You know what I mean? I was just looking for
Yeah.
music, and after that, I just kind of got obsessed with it. You know what I mean? I've always loved lyricism and like wordplay and entendres or double meanings and like clever, like people being clever, and especially in
Yeah.
that format. You know what I mean? Like everyone goes, "Oh, is it like 8 Mile?" Whenever someone finds out I'm a battle rapper, they go, "Oh, is it like 8 Mile?" And I'm like, "I kind of, but not really." Like, you know what I mean? But I loved 8 Mile, so I watched it and I was like, right, I love this. And then over a course of a couple of years, I just would watch the uploads constantly from all of these different leagues, whether it be in the UK or the America or Canada, and I just got more and more and more involved in it. So there probably wasn't like I was watch battles pretty much every single day, just because
Yeah.
it was something that I enjoyed. And then when I started working, got a little bit of money and stuff like that, I was like, right, I want to go to some events, because there's no events, there wasn't really any events up here. I maybe want to see 1 or 2 battle rap events on the Don't Flop platform up here
Right.
when I was younger, but the events were more like London, Manchester, Leeds. And I went down to an event in Leeds for the weekend, and after the event, people were outside in the street and they were doing like a cipher, so like a beat on a speaker, and loads of rappers jumping in.
Yeah.
And I must have had about 6, 7 pints or something like that. So I just jumped in and did a verse, and then the next thing I knew, like someone had came up to us, they were like, "Oh, we're doing this event in Sheffield. Do you want to come and like try out battling?" And I'd kind of considered it before, you know. It'd always been in the mind when I was watching. I was like, I could do this, you know what I mean? I could slag someone off definitely, and I could make it
Yeah.
clever and I could make it rhyme. But when they gave me the opportunity, I was like, right, let's do it. But I mean, you know, you mentioned before, like you've watched some of my early battles. That was
Yeah.
real fucking humble beginnings, mate. Like real humble beginnings. I'm talking like a pub in Sheffield with a pool table, 20 people, not a lot of kind of rap fans there, like just random men and like people sitting with their pints as well, watching it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like the early stages, but I just loved it. You know what I mean? And I did class on my very first one, and it's so
yeah,
addictive. So that's kind of like how I got into it, and then obviously since then it's transcended
yeah.
massively. But that was kind of like my route in. Someone watched me. I could have just said I was outside in the street spitting bars, and someone came up to me and asked, but
Yeah,
bass.
yeah.
That's kind of like the story.
Perfect, mate. Like, I was just looking there. That's answered one of like the other questions I had following that because I was going to be, was there a scene at all in Newcastle for like battle rapping? But by the sounds of it, not really. It's like
Nah.
a bit further down south from us, like you say, Sheffield, Leeds, Manchester, London.
Yeah.
So how did you find out? Was it like about the competitions? Was it the case for that Leeds one you just seen it like from people who you were following, and then obviously the one from Sheffield you just got invited down from being like down in Leeds?
Yeah, yeah. So like the one in Leeds was kind of because I was watching all of the YouTube uploads. I knew they would always post when the next kind of events were on and following them on Facebook and stuff like that. So like, so yeah, it was, and then of course getting invited to battle on that dub scandal league, which was really like where I cut my teeth type of thing
Yeah,
in a non-pressured environment because it is a pressured environment, and yeah, so just kind of started following the scene, and then from then I guess like people started to watch me on that league, which was a small league, like won't
yeah,
mind me saying that was a very small league. The maximum people I probably performed in front of in my first three battles on that league was like 50, which is all
right,
right, but like probably maximum about 15 in beer gardens and stuff like that. And then I
yeah,
went from that to kind of battling in front of 400 people in Shoreditch, 600 people in central London on a huge stage in front of Americans. So it like with an American that flew over. So it was just kind of like in an instant. I was just yeah. It was weird. It moved super super quickly, and all of a sudden I just was like yeah.
yeah. No, to be fair, that's not something I've ever. Yeah, I didn't even know. I'll be honest. That until I met you, I didn't know this sort of stuff even existed properly in the UK. I swear down. And then when I met you and I seen your first upload a couple of months ago, because that was your first one in a few years, I think, wasn't it? The one
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you'd
yeah.
done
Just
back
came
in,
back
was
this
it
year, yeah.
May time or something?
Yeah, yeah, just came back this year. Did the battle in March and then it got released at the start of May.
March. Yeah. So that was like the first time I actually realised. Like I knew there was that sort of scene just because obviously of like following, Chip and Bugsy and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But I didn't know it was to like the extent where I've seen you on when I think it was visuals that one, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Vix Visual.
We'll get onto that a bit later as well. But when I first seen that, I was like, what the fuck? I did not know. But obviously knowing you through football, I was like, what's 50 pence doing? Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Nah,
Uh,
you know,
nah, but
do
I've,
you
like I
know what it
said,
is? There isn't a scene up here, and to be honest with you, when I first started, when I was like 20, 21,
yeah,
I'm a proper word nerd. Like I'm a nerd. You know what I mean? I love this type of stuff.
yeah,
When I first started, I was trying to like convince all my mates like how cool it was, and then as I got a bit older, I was like, I don't give like people aren't gonna get it. You know what I mean? There's loads of people I
yeah.
know who are like, oh, I'm a battle rapper. They're like, what the fuck? What you absolute freak? You know what I mean? But like,
I rated
I,
me.
I don't care. And as I've got older, I'm kind of just like I stopped trying to convince people that it's like, oh, you need to
Yeah,
watch this or you need to do that. I might share it with a few of my mates. I'll put it in a few of my group chats. But I'm just
yeah,
like if people find out I'm a battle rapper, I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool.
yeah,
The number one thing though, when someone finds out you're a battle rapper, they're like, "Go on then, rap," and I'm like, "It's not like, what do you mean?
yeah.
Go on then,
Just
battle me."
rough.
No, just rap. No, like, no, you need to pay me for that. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Nah, like I said though, when I first found out, I think I messaged you and you were like, "Oh, I was gonna put it in the football group." I was like, "Just whack it in." Like, I'm
I
all for supporting people and stuff like that. So as soon as I found out, I was like, "Just share it." It was
Gets a few more eyes on it, like a few more views. And if it's someone's cup of tea, it's gonna be someone's cup of tea. Like I could share it, and like
yeah,
20 people could look at it, and 15 people or 80, 19 people might go,
yeah,
"Ah, I don't really like that." But if one person likes it, then they might kind of have a similar thing to what happened with me when I first started watching it. They might then go, actually, I want to go and watch fucking. I've got now a recommended video on YouTube. I'm gonna go and watch some
yeah,
of these, and you might end up getting into it. They might like enjoy watching them. So yeah,
yeah. I mean, I did. I went down. I know I mentioned off camera, but I went down a bit of a hole last night just watching yours. But then I carried on watching a few other people as well who you would battle. Like, I'll go on to it, but the real Seek and stuff like that.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
very good as well.
yeah. He's sick.
Um, just about your older stuff, then I've just got one question, right? Just because it's one of them that I watched last night and I did laugh. And don't get us wrong, the lyrics were good, but it was the accent I just couldn't take him serious. Was Corbin?
Oh right, yeah. That's me.
He's
That was
just
me. So that was my first ever one. That was
was it?
my first battle. Yeah, yeah.
Because with him, he's got such a posh accent. When he was saying stuff, I just couldn't take it like serious compared to the other battles that you've had.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
was laughing when he was doing his lyrics, but then I was like, you were really good back then as well. To be fair,
Do you know what it is? I think that's an interesting conversation point and a tangent is that everyone has this preconception of, well, if you've got a preconception of what battle rap is, you'd expect someone who's like, I don't know, maybe like a little bit aggressive, a little bit intense,
yeah,
type kind of like Eminem in 8 Mile, you know what I mean? Like and
yeah,
dresses a certain way or whatever. But what you've actually got within the entire community, especially in the UK, is lots of different styles. So people come from
yeah,
all walks of life. There's quite a few what you'd consider posh battle rappers who do
yeah,
like more of like a comedic style. There's people who do more of like a fucking football lad, drunkard style, like type of thing.
yeah,
Like, so there's lots of different people from all walks of life. But I do agree, like a Carvin, like he's a good mate of mine now. But
yeah,
I know what you mean when he was doing some of his like aggression in that like posh, rich
yeah.
accent. Like, I get it. Like,
Good thing about Corbin though, like a lot of it didn't seem that he was being too serious, but there was a few punchlines when you could tell. Well, might not have been, but it looked like he was trying to have that be that little bit more aggressive compared to like the ball before. And when he was doing it, it's like when I burst out laughing a little bit, but his lyrics weren't actually that bad. It was
yeah,
just the way they were coming across with the accent.
yeah. He was quite
Yeah,
junior at that point. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just answer the door.
yeah, no worries, mate.
Um, yeah, if anyone is watching this podcast though now and they're thinking, oh, they're going to go and watch a battle, don't go and watch the Carbon one because that's like
I
the very
highly
first one.
recommend watching that one.
Nah, like you know what I mean. Like, so, and this is all of the perception, right? So when I first started, like first did my first battle, I was so excited. It meant like everything to me at that point because I just wanted, like, I was like, oh, this is mint. And then I
Yeah,
shared the link with people, and I'm in, like, no disrespect, I'm in a pub back room with 20 people against the posh kid who's fucking
yeah,
screaming at us. Then people are like, what the fuck's this? You know what I mean? It's not
yeah.
exactly like the Ritz, but like, so don't go and watch that one. Although I do like it. If you want to get into battle rap, it's probably not the best one to watch. Not my best
Yeah.
performance either, definitely.
Yeah. Nah. Talking about back then to now as well. How I suppose there's two questions. Is one, how do you manage like not taking certain things too personally, and how has that kind of developed from like back then to now as well? Because in my head, I'm probably assuming here as well, but when compared to now, compared to when you first started, you probably might have taken it a little bit more personal with some of the stuff said back then compared to after being experienced and having a few years in the game as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think experience does play a big part into it because battle rap has let's say an unwritten code, right? There's certain things that are potentially going to be off limits or considered as off limits, but that doesn't mean that they don't get said or they don't get brought up or
Yeah,
touched upon to touch a nerve. Um, but like if when I first started, I think I would have reacted quite bad to something being, super personal or
yeah,
in comparison to now. And like once you have a few have some more experience and a few more battles under your belt, you're there to slag each other off at the end of the day. You're supposed to
Yeah.
get under the other person's skin. That's the whole basis of it, and that's how you can win a
Yeah.
battle. So if I was standing against someone and they say something that I don't necessarily like and I react in a certain way, that can actually lose me the battle because he's won at the end of the day. So you've got to try and be careful. But I think like I'm not the type to really go down too much of a personal route, right? If they've introduced a topic before in previous battles, such as, like in the visual battle, I talk about his dad had a heart attack or something like that, but
Yeah.
he had actually brought that up in a battle before, so I actually just used what he said and kind of reworked it. I'm not like
Yeah.
going in there and telling him that I'm gonna like kill his little sister for no reason. Like I just
Yeah.
think that's distasteful. But I mean,
Yeah.
some bad things get said in battles, and there's a famous battle in the UK, Jefferson Price versus Caustic, and Caustic's an American battler, and he comes over, and he has a full round angle about Jefferson Price's cheating on his girlfriend, and
Right.
with someone who's actually in the crowd, and Jefferson Price actually lost his marriage over it. So then he just disappeared into to the sticks, they call it. Like he's just disappeared. He just went off the face of the earth. So
Right.
so it's a no holds barred environment. You've got to expect you're there for someone to slag you off. And I try
Yeah.
not to worry too much about what my opponent's going to say. And when I'm in the moment now, I pretty much shut it out as much as possible.
Yeah. Because I noticed that, to be fair, I think, was it your last battle against Oppa, who came in from Jersey?
It came in from Maryland, Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because he mentioned something like from a boss that you said in a previous battle, didn't he?
yeah,
Was it him? Yeah.
yeah.
Which I was just going to mention that as well. I think he used bars that you mentioned. Was it, or was it? It might not have been him. It could have been the guy from Liverpool, the baldy headed kid.
Bobby Rex.
Aye, Bobby. I think he mentioned something that you said in the Real Seek battle.
Yeah, and then turned it.
Yeah, and turned it against you. Yeah, but to be fair, the bars that you did use in that battle, I think it was about your gran and your sister,
Yeah.
mate. They were phenomenal bars. To be fair, I've like made a note to mention it because when I listened to it and when I like heard you mention, I was like, Jesus Christ, that hits home as well. Like that, they were
Yeah.
very good bars. Because
No. I appreciate that, but this is what I kind of mean. Like that for me, that was around where I really like it meant a lot to me. I read it, I put it out, but then I put it out there. So then I can't complain if someone uses that against me in a battle to try and get under
yeah,
my skin a bit. And Bobby's like me and Bobby are really really close mates. So speak pretty much every single day. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah,
it's not. I get it. This is the game type of thing.
yeah. So how much like? Because I was just about to say there, if you mentioned you and Bobby being really close, one of my like questions was, do you stay like close like with certain battle rappers after years have had like that competition, and has it also been like any beefs as well after like a competition as well where maybe you've struck a nerve or they've struck a nerve a bit too much or anything like that, or is it kind of once it's done like under the rug
Yeah.
type of thing?
There's never. I wouldn't say that I've personally been involved in anything where like it struck a nerve from either side to the point where we'll argue afterwards. And the majority
Yeah,
of times, you actually I would say you actually become closer to the person you're battling against because you've almost had this weird shared experience where you're performing together on stage. So
yeah,
naturally, you're just like cooler with each other than you were prior. It's probably more intense before the battle, and then afterwards, it's like, you know what I mean. It's kind of like a
yeah,
boxer fighting with someone else. When the fight's finished, you touch gloves and
yeah,
you've got respect for each other, and then you can make some mates out of it. There has been, occasions in battles where people have like thrown hands on stage and stuff like that. Like in mid round, people have had their shirts pulled and ripped and like. And yeah, and my next opponent that I'm battling next week pulled out a knife on stage at one point. Like so it's like it can get a little bit Larry, but
Yeah.
more time than not, because the community's quite small in the UK. I think people are more like friends
Yeah, and
and
like respectful with it.
respectful, and everyone knows each other. I mean, I flew over to Belfast to battle Oppa,
Yeah.
the guy that you said from Washington. I flew over to Belfast in July to battle Oppa, and I took me girlfriend and then my dad and a couple of my dad's mates flew over as well, because obviously cheap flights from Newcastle. And
Yeah.
they'd kind of watched me before. My dad watches everything, but like my dad's mates had kind of watched me before, and they loved it. But they were so surprised at actually how what the event was like. Like everyone's chatting with each other, having a laugh, like having beers. There's music on. It's like going to a kind of night out type of thing. I think everyone has
Yeah.
expects you to just go to an event and it be really intense and really fucking cagey and shit like that. But it's not. It's like it's a quite a small community. There's only probably, I would say, maximum 200 battle rappers in the UK, maybe there or thereabouts. So everyone kind of knows each other, which takes away that element of it being like unfriendly. I reckon creates more of
Yeah.
a community.
Yeah. So a lot of these battle rappers as well, because obviously it's a cappella, not like music in the background, like what you mentioned on like 8 Mile and stuff like that. Did like a lot of yous make music as well as this, or is it just a case where you're just in the battle rap scene, go
Yeah.
against each other kind of thing?
I've got a lot of friends in battle rap who make amazing music. I mean, Bobby Rex's music's amazing. Gemini has got a lot of stuff on Spotify. I think he's got like I can't remember how many streams, but he's doing quite well with streams at the moment because he's like a grime artist. Shotty
Yeah.
Horror is probably one of the most famous battle rappers from the UK, and he was signed to Sony and has made songs with Dead Mouse and stuff like that. So there's quite a lot of battle rappers who you probably might have seen the name or even heard some of their music in the past, and
Yeah.
and now they do music. So you don't like. Have you heard of Bruce C before? Who's a drum and bass artist at all?
Yeah, yeah, I have,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So he was a battle rapper. He started as a battle rapper. I've
Didn't know
seen him
that.
live a few times. I know, like, so a lot of people use battle rap as a platform to gain fans and then jump into music, and vice versa.
Yeah.
A lot of people do music first and then come into battle rap because the rappers, they want to like try a different thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of us make music. I've made a few tracks in the past, but like I never really pushed
Well,
them.
that's what made us ask, because I think it was Oppa who's mentioned. Was it Oppa who mentioned a diss track you made against him, or was that the real Seek?
That was real sick. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. He
real
really
sick is it?
pulled my
Sorry.
fucking pants
Uh,
down there, like.
yeah. Because I was like, when I heard that before, I was like, what? Jamie's releasing diss tracks as well.
This all comes down to selling the fight, right? Because before a battle, at the end of the day, you've been booked. You're part of the promotion. The same as a
Yeah.
boxer would, the same as a boxer would, have a face off and stuff like that. Things like that happen, like face offs. People chat to each other, either live or over video like this, or like you might make like you might tweet, you might fucking just trying to sell the fight. So when I
Yeah.
got that booked, I went to the studio, made a quick grime disc, released it. Did I reap? But like, he basically just took the first line where I said something about like you won't see me part of the circle jerk or something like that, and that to him was hilarious. Like to me, saying
Yeah.
circle jerks like fucking just means like you all wank each other off, and you're all in this like closed community and blah 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 blah. But to him,
Yeah.
because he's American, he was like, whoa, why is this guy talking about like jerking and like stuff like
Yeah.
that? So yeah, but I made a few little diss tracks only
Yeah.
for opponents. I'm not like after it's booked. I'm not like just making diss tracks for random people.
For the crack.
I'm not into that. Although it does happen to me. As fucking know. So
Yeah. Nah, just when I heard him say, I was like, I'm gonna have to ask about it because, from my opinion, like, well, not my opinion, just because how little I know about the scene, I
yeah,
thought people in it might just be like doing that rather than releasing music. But that's interesting,
yeah,
especially when you mentioned someone doing like drum and bass and was
yeah,
a
yeah,
battle rapper. Like
yeah, Brucey.
when you
Yeah,
think about that's like two kind of separate genres, really.
yeah, yeah. People moved.
Um,
So
Yeah. So when you're battling, how much time do you spend like prepping and preparing, so including obviously researching like your opponent, like putting pen to paper, everything like that. How
Yeah.
much time would you say normally would spend, or does it just change depending on who you're facing?
It does. It depends on who you're facing because I've had some battles where it's been booked the week before, like the Saturday before, because I've took it on short preparation. Like basically, someone's had an opponent, that opponent's dropped out, and someone's messaged me and been like, would you step in? So I've done it on 7 days preparation before, but I've also done it on 4 months preparation. So
Yeah,
it's like that's two different ways that you kind of have to prepare. And I don't know which one I prefer really. Probably having a little bit longer is better, but sometimes you find your best ideas come the week before. It's kind of like leaving your coursework deadline or your uni assessment deadline till the last minute, and like all of a sudden you can just get it all out because the added pressure comes out. So
yeah,
in terms of preparation time, I mean, there's a couple of different phases of it. Obviously, research I might do kind of sporadically and watch a few battles, but I maybe know already what I'm going to say to the person when I've accepted it because I'll have an idea in my head.
yeah,
The writing side of things is my favorite part because it's the creative part, and that's a case of like I write bars. So some people can sit down and write with a piece of paper and write.
yeah,
I just have bars that come to us all the time that I'm just like, right, I need to make a note of that, and then I go back to it, and then all of a sudden I've got what looks like 3 different rounds of material that I piece together. And then the worst
yeah,
part, it is good for at the start. The worst part is the revising of it, because I'm talking like I'm screaming the fucking house down for an hour and a half every single night the week before the
yeah,
battle, over and over and over and over. My girlfriend really fucking hates us. Or I'm like whispering, whispering really loud in the shower. She'll just be like, why do you whisper so loudly? Like, I know what you're doing. Like in the shower, like so.
yeah,
The revising side, when you first started and you get them fully memorized, it's mint because you've written something which is amazing and you're about to go perform it. But then you've got
yeah,
to do it over and over and over again until it's second nature. And I've never, well, sorry, the only battle I've ever choked in and like forgot my material was my very first one, my very first bar. And that's the
yeah,
only time I've ever choked, or probably I barely even stumbled. Like a lot of battle rappers get up there and they've not memorized the material, and then the choke. I couldn't think of anything worse than being in a room on stage with every single eye in the room watching me, and I don't know what I'm gonna say. Like
yeah.
that would be that awful to me. So
Yeah, I would not be good at it, like, cause even song lyrics that's on the radio, mate, I don't know any songs, like, you know what I mean?
really,
Do you know that game when you play like the music and you have to guess like what the song is? Unless it's a
yeah,
song that I've listened to repeatedly every single day, then I haven't got a clue. So unless it's basically noughties R&B, then
you're done.
I'm fucked. Yeah, because I don't listen. Even my playlist now is like neo stuff like that from like the early noughties, like Mario stuff like that. So
I
I
feel
would
like
not be good at that.
I feel like mine's a form of autism or something, like, because my earliest memory of rapping is being 7 or 8 years old in like a school talent show. That's probably like year 3, year 4. I can't
Yeah.
remember. Year 3, year 4, and it was like a talent show for me form class, and I got up and I spat Mockingbird by Eminem just
That's
out.
the only rap song I know.
Yeah, that's about Mockingbird by Eminem because it was my favorite Eminem song. Just off the bat, like, and like the teacher's like, obviously he's got lots of swearing in and that.
Yeah.
But like I could just recite lyrics all day. So
Yeah.
it's being in tuned in us from an early age.
Fair enough, mate. Rather you than me, because if I got on a stage like that, I would fold. I remember doing, you know, the year 6 lever assemblies when you all sing a song together. I
Yeah.
was at the back because I kept forgetting the lyrics. And I forgot what it was now, but
It's
I
hard on
was,
stage with all the eyes on you. It's with all the pressure. It is hard. It's added pressure. You know what I mean? It's not just a
yeah,
normal environment.
especially with the room that you used to do it in, because the last one must have been 400 people-ish, if not more,
Yeah.
because that crowd looked big.
Belfast was maybe about 200. I would say.
Right.
I would say maybe the visual battle, which was in Brixton, was probably about 250, 300. And then the biggest one was the real sick one, which was
Yeah.
600. Probably my hardest opponent, I would say.
That leads us perfect into the next point there that I've got was who's the hardest opponent and who do you think you've performed the best with? Personally, just from watching a few of your videos, my favourite one was the real sick. As in a back and forth, I thought both views were like really good in that one. But
Yeah.
from your like opinion, what would be your two? Like one, the hardest opponent, and then two was which one do you think you performed best in?
Yeah, so I think like the real Sikh battle was an interesting booking at an interesting time because it was a case like him at that point he wasn't really that famous, right? He's super famous now. I'm talking he'd probably be getting, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I would say he'd be getting anywhere between 10 grand, 15 grand a battle, right? In America,
Right.
which is a crazy amount of money in comparison to the UK, trust us. And 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 at that point I was kind of on the rise as well in the UK. So they were like, okay, this makes sense. And when I watched a few of his battles, I'm not saying that I didn't kind of appreciate him enough, but I thought, I was so over cocky. I'd not been beaten at that point. I'd beat some very good people. I'd had some great performances, and I was just like kind of cocksure. And I wouldn't say that I put as much time into the writing of the first two rounds as I kind of just wrote them and was like, right, I'll use these. And then I had that third round that you said that you said you liked before about my grand and my sister, blah blah blah, that I wrote down too. But the first two rounds were kind of, it wasn't my best material. I used bars that I was supposed to say to someone else that I was booked against that got cancelled and just kind of reworked them in. So I didn't put enough time into the preparation, and like I got up on stage, but I just thought, nah, it's okay. I'll be able to fucking beat this American guy. A lot of the Americans when they come over, they just don't half-arse it. You know, they're not very good. I spat my first round in that stage, and at the Steel Yard in London, and there's probably like what 500-600 people there or something, and the battle beforehand, there was a fight that had kicked off in the middle of the battle, which meant it like the energy of the room just got zapped. You know what I mean? So when I went up to perform, the crowd were like pissed off because the last battle had just been kind of called off and started and everything. And I said the real sick sick, I'll just call him sick. I said to sick at that point, like, fucking, we're gonna have to work hard here. And he was like, bro, I was thinking the same. Like, the crowd were quiet all day. I spat my first round, and I just felt like when I'm in the moment, you watch it back and you're getting reaction. But in that moment, right on stage there, I felt like the room just wasn't reacting at all. I was like, oh my god, I've got crickets here. Like, oh, I'm absolutely fucked. And then he started his first round, and I'm thinking, okay, well maybe the guy's not going to be that good, as well. He started his first round, and he had this little section where he's like, three shots hit. He breathed awkward. Sounds like he's about to start beatboxing, and honestly, the crowd just fucking erupted. I've never felt a bar go through us so much, and I was like, fuck, I'm done here, like. So I think like I underestimated real sick, and now if you look at the stuff that he's done, if you've watched any of his other battles, he's battling on the biggest cards in the world in America now, and he's kind of a bit of a superstar over there. But I definitely think that was my hardest battle, probably because I didn't prepare with the same energy that I do now. I put a lot more time into my material than I did at that point.
Yeah, I was gonna say from watching your videos as well. One thing that I have noticed, especially your most recent ones, I think your crowd work's really, really good as well.
Yeah.
So I think you even put it in one of your lyrics as well. But against a real sick, it's funny that you mentioned that because I thought you were really, really good with the crowd in that, like on that day. Visuals, I thought you were, and op, I thought you were as well.
Yeah.
So it's really funny how you've just said that there because I thought on the day both yous had the crowd like going
Nicely.
So
yeah.
it's weird that you mentioned like on that stage like in real time it felt like
Didn't
those
feel like
crickets.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when you watch it back, you kind of see what like I mean though when you like with the crowd, because I
Yeah.
don't think they were quiet at all. I thought the energy was there for you two, especially.
I felt like the warmed up maybe after my first round. So my first round finished, and then I feel like the energy goes like
Yeah,
up. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's a bad performance by any means. I'm saying for me, I just wish I'd put more into it, and it's probably because it's very, in my opinion. But then again, like you might have a different one. But I've watched
yeah,
battle rap for years. In my opinion, I would say that he won that battle. You know what I mean? Like I would not argue with someone if they told me that. Whereas my other battles are largely debatable, or I've definitely won. Right? So I think
yeah,
that's probably the one I call it the hardest because it's probably clearest, the clearest in the other direction.
yeah.
No.
Fair enough, but you're probably overly critical as well about that battle because you know for a fact that you could have done better if you spent more time preparing as well.
Yeah.
So there's like kind of two aspects of it as well. Like for me, I couldn't tell you who won if I'm being honest. I have no clue how people
Yeah.
watched it. I'm gonna be totally
But
honest with you.
if you watch it, I get it. So you watch it from like you're like, oh well, at least like something's happening here, and the crowd work.
I just find it entertaining.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know
Like
what you mean. But the perfectionism, the like how critical I am, comes down to me even now with my material. When I'm going through it, I'm changing like singular words. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Even after I've revised something, I'm changing singular words, and then I'm going over that section again, just so it flows better, or just so the verb or the noun or whatever it is just flips the bar in a different way. Like it's that type of like kind of intricacy with the writing. It's not just write something down and then that's what you use. I'm like writing something down and then I'm flipping it 5 6 different ways to see which is
yeah,
the best way, and then going back and scrapping it all type of thing. So it's
yeah,
I'm super critical of myself, especially when it comes to the writing and the performing.
yeah. The way you talk about the writing as well, it's like there's a science behind it more than anything, which is really interesting. Because from a outsider looking in, it's like you're writing words. Obviously, I could never do it. Like I barely passed English. But when you when the way you're talking about it there and like changing little things just so maybe it lands better or
Yeah,
changes the direction, like it's really interesting to hear somebody talk about the writing side of things with that much passion as well.
yeah,
Um, I know I mentioned I've got Sebastian on next week, but you're kind of I had Chico on, but Chico's more music side of it. So you're the first person who I've spoke to in regards to writing music, and it is really interesting from somebody who's got like no background in it whatsoever to hear someone talk about it like that and how it is kind of not a science, but it is a science at the same time.
yeah, yeah. It definitely is, and some of the best battle rappers in the world will have loads of different writing techniques, and some people like do something called reverse engineering, which is like you start with the punchline in mind of what you're going to say, and it might within that you might have a little bit of wordplay, like against Real Sick I said, oh, I'm about to bring the house down and leave real estate. Like it's basically like just it's like little bits of wordplay like that. So you might start with that as your line, and then you work backwards to build up the setup to it. So a lot of people
Right.
reverse engineer when they're writing, but like there is science behind making things even sound nicer for the ear. So like everyone thinks about rhyming words is just the final end, like rhyming king with bing and ding, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you're talking about how many actual syllables rhyme before that to make it sound nicer, and then even more complex in the setup to before you get to the end of the line. Sometimes I'm even adding a different syllable sound in there, or a different vowel sound in there to match the line three down, because it sounds better with the flow. Like there's
Yeah.
like a lot of intricacy that goes into it. Like some people can just do it
Yeah.
naturally. I'm pretty natural with it, but then I definitely do go back and edit my material lots to just be like, okay, this sounds
Yeah.
better, this sounds better, this sounds better.
Have you ever freestyled?
Are you gonna ask us to don't ask us to freestyle? I've
No,
freestyle.
no, not now. I mean, like in a battle.
Yeah, yeah. So like my past two battles. So I did like a freestyle versus opera because he called me 50 pence. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
he called me 50 pence. So I had like this whole one about like Whoopi Goldberg or something like that. Just like
Was
really,
that freestyle? Was
that's
that? I thought you
freestyle,
wrote that.
yeah.
That was sick.
And but that's a cheeky one though because I kind of someone had commented on my battle calling this 50 pence, right? So I had in mind if he said calls me 50 pence, I'm gonna call him Whoopi Goldberg, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
but fucking but against Visual I had like he brought up the fact that he said, oh, you look like you like work in recruitment or something like that. And
Yeah.
I had that whole like, oh well, if he said I'm a recruiter, that means you're going to get this work or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but that was just like in the moment. And it's funny because like I hadn't really freestyled in a lot of my battles before. I'd freestyled maybe one or two lines, but my mate came down with this and he knew all my material. Like he knew every single round, and I said to him before I went on, I said, look, the only thing I'm struggling with is the start of every single round, the first line. I said, if I can't remember where I am, I'm going to turn to you, and you need to tell us the start of whatever round we're at in case I just get like kind of mixed up, whatever. So when I started with a completely different opening line, you see my mate in the background like what the fuck's he doing? So like, but yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that back now and just look out for you,
It's
mate.
the start of this start of the second round, and freestyling is one of the best ways to get ahead of your opponent because you're in a written battle. So doing something like that, a little bit extra in the moment, the crowd love it.
Yeah. Because you probably don't, but do you have any other than obviously in England from past battles? Do you know what they're going to say, or is it the case where it's just yourselves? No, like I'm assuming it's just like you know what you're going to write. They haven't got a clue what you've written down.
I don't have a clue what my opponent is going to say, and they won't know for me. And but battle rap over the years has changed. So it used to be primarily just freestyle battles, and then it moved into like more of like a written format, and then it moved into unbeaten type of thing. So yeah.
Fair enough. I'm just having a look at the agenda because I'm not used to rattling through points as quick as what we've done this time.
I speak so fast, so it's like in a flow.
It's not that, mate. You're probably the first guest that's actually stayed on point with a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's all good still. I'm just having a look. Yeah. So if that's your hardest, would you say, I know we spoke off camera, but who would you say was your best performance again? I know you mentioned visuals, didn't you?
Yeah, my favorite, probably my favorite two performances were against Visual, because it was my return battle and he was the Premier Battles Island champ at that time, so he actually had a title. They actually have belts like wrestling, you know, like.
I was going to ask this.
Have you seen them?
I don't think I have, you know.
I don't like them. I think they're weird. I think they're shit, me. But like they've got belts. They've got belts. Do whatever you like. But I wouldn't. I've wore a belt before for a photo, and actually, to be fair, if you won it, it might feel quite cool. But at the same time, it's not really my sort of thing. But they've got these belts. So he was the island champ, and he was on like such a crazy winning streak, and like I think I won that battle, you know, quite clearly. Whether it's 2-1, 3-0, don't mind. But it felt good to be back on stage, and I think my main thing with that was like I was quite nervous beforehand. Of people were telling me, oh, you know, it's not a good battle for Mav to come back into because he's gonna have ring rust and he's not gonna be kind of as sharp. And like I kind of just walked back into battle rap and just like. It looks easy, you know what I mean. When I watch that back, I feel like I'm in my zone, I'm in my bag type of thing. So
yeah,
so
you didn't look out of place in it. To be fair, I wouldn't have thought that you had like a long stint out. I know that's the first time I ever watched you perform, but
it was like 2.5 years or something, or 3 years or something that I hadn't done a battle for. So
right, fair play then, because to step on stage against someone who's obviously probably in the middle of the kind of peak of where they're at as well, and that being your first battle back, that takes some kind of big balls as well. Like,
aye, yeah. I've never really been scared of a lot of things. I'm a little bit. I think you've got to be a battle rapper, but I'm a little bit sure of myself. You know what I mean? Especially in that environment. So, yeah.
Yeah. Right, I know that because you did also say you were really quick as well when you played football as well. So
I had, like obviously I play play for my other team, and we're playing a preseason game, and sometimes I say things just to wind people up. Like I know I'm not
yeah,
the
yeah,
fastest. I'm probably second fastest, third fastest on the team. I know I'm not the fastest, right? But like,
right.
I was playing in a preseason friendly, and the ball went out to the right back, and I was playing up front, right, and I could see a good run. And I was like, I think I screamed Hendo over the top, trust the pace, and everyone on my team was laughing. We're on an attack, but people were fucking cruising.
Yeah,
I'm fast.
I
If
know.
anyone watching, I'm fast, basically.
Yeah, I know. Was
Okay.
it first started with us too? Was it against old novels when we played on the 4G when we had you playing left wing or something?
Oh yeah, that was a horrible game. That like,
Yeah, that was a horrible game. Back on track though, because rather than football, because I don't really want to speak about football after our Sunday league performances recently.
because I'm not keep
Um,
playing. See what happens.
nah, that's
Won the
it. You
last one
played
I
one
played.
game and we won.
Ah,
You
exactly.
did drop in it to be fair, so I am blaming you for one of them.
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
It was your birthday, we'll let you off. So next thing you on about with up and that making like 15 bags. I don't want to know obviously amounts or anything like that, but one of the questions what I did have was for these battles, especially now rather than back when you first started,
Yeah.
do they pay for like the travel accommodation or is it just kind of a purse for winning? Like how does like the financial side of it work if there's any?
Yeah, I wouldn't say up. I'd be getting 15 bags. More like probably like real sick.
Oh, real sick, sorry, yeah.
Just based on popularity. It's like supply and demand. Like if you're in high demand, you can work more of a fee arrangement out. I think like if
Right.
you get to a certain level within battle rap, the expectation is that you're gonna have your travel paid for because
Yeah.
you booked as part of the promotion. But not everyone will get a fee until you can kind of show that people are wanting to see you. You're bringing people through the door to watch your battles. If
Yeah.
you're consistently bringing people from your hometown, which is hard for me to do because I'm from fucking Newcastle, train down to
Yeah.
London like at the minute, 110 quid. I'm trying to pay me own, never mind convince some of my mates,
Yeah.
being like, oh, I come down and watch this thing that you don't understand. Like,
Belfast were probably cheap on that, a different
mate, it
country.
was 23 quid for the flight.
It's
Like,
crazy, isn't
mad
it?
in
Right,
it.
innit?
But yeah, so like you can demand a fee after a certain point. I mean, you're not talking like 15 bags.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would say I don't want to speak out of turn for if people because people in UK battle rap will probably watch this when I put it on my Twitter.
Yeah.
But you're talking maybe like from anywhere from up to 1,500 maybe.
Yeah.
I think people have been paid more in the past, or bigger battle rappers will have been paid more in the past in other battles, or maybe just when it was more popular because it was more popular at one point. Battles were getting fucking 10 million views, 2 million views, 3 million views. Now
Yeah.
battles are struggling to break fucking 30,000 if they're really good. So I think when there was a higher demand, it would have been more. But yeah, anywhere in that range.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, do you think it was kind of more popular as well back when the likes of Chippy and Bugs were going back to each other? Because I know like Grime's obviously a very similar like genre. So when they were like doing their like in the grime scene like firing shots at each other, do you think like there was a correlation with like battle rap being popular then as well, kind of stemming from that sort of culture?
Um, I think that it's kind of two different lanes because Bugsy and Chip, although it's like it is battling culture, it's more like grime clashes type of thing over a beat. So what Bugsy and Chip did was probably made grime clashing more popular. I can remember
Right.
like can't remember the names. Words or Weapons. There used to be a league. I don't know if the videos are still even online anymore because there was some sort of problem. I
Right.
know Talk is Cheap started it. I can't really remember the name of the leagues off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But it definitely made grime clashing more popular. So in a way, yes,
Right.
it would. It did bring it back. It was probably most popular when YouTube had its first boom like virality, and like YouTube videos started going crazy viral and shit like that. That was probably when it first was most popular.
Right. No, it's interesting. Just obviously from an outside, you kind of don't really know what kind of peaks there is in that sort of, well, especially battle rapping, where I was just curious to see, like, with it being kind of battle culture, obviously it's very different, if there was any kind of correlation with it, but it's quite interesting that you mentioned that there.
It's interesting though from a from a view perspective though, because like back then everything was all on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now there's pay-per-views. So like you can watch it on a lot of people buy the pay-per-view, watch it on that, don't watch it on YouTube. So you almost take quite a lot of the people who are watching it there and put it behind it. You know, people start to pay to watch it rather than just watch it for
Is that
free.
your battle raps, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. So is it Premier Battles that your last couple have been with, isn't it?
My last couple have been with Premier Battles. I've got one on members only in next Saturday, which is a newer league, but more of like there's some grime clashes on that league, and it's more like a grime scene type of thing. But I'm doing a battle on it, so and then yeah, I'm hoping to get on Don't Flop as well over the next couple of months. So there's quite a few different leagues. Those are probably the main three at the minute in the UK.
So is that you kind of getting back into it fully this year then? Because obviously if you got one next week, that's going to be your third this year?
Yeah, I said to myself I need to do a minimum of 4 because I think you have to do 3 to be in to be in for Battler of the Year. In Battler of the Year you get a cash prize as well. They do like a huge voting thing, so I'm kind of on based on my run so far, I'm in the runnings for it, whether I win it or not, but I'm definitely in the runnings for it, probably even top 5 at the minute. So I'm pushing for that. So I said I'd do 3 or 4 this year.
Yeah, because I was going to say in your last battle, I think it was against Oppa, they did mention that you're one of the best the UK has to offer as well. Who the guy who runs it, the small fella.
Briggsy.
Yeah, so that,
Small fella.
mate,
I'm gonna clip
well,
this and send it to him.
oh, don't, because I don't want people after us, man. I didn't mean it.
won't
I'm
go
small as well. It's sound. I'm small. It's just when he was stood next to Oppa, I think he just looked tiny.
Yeah.
Because Oppa's a big guy.
Nah, he's tall. Lad,
he is
tall
like.
guy.
That's pretty much it from the like the battle rock kind of questions.
Yeah.
It's more digging into stuff a little bit more on the personal side. So one of the questions which I ask on every episode is, what's the hardest thing that you've faced and had to go overcome, and how did you manage that? So that can just be kind of an obstacle, or it can be mentally as well. So just what you feel comfortable obviously sharing as well. I don't expect you to share stuff that you don't want to share.
I think it's kind of related to battle rap as well, but I think like imposter syndrome, right? Because with both battle rap and my career, I kind of have had a similar crazy trajectory from, you know, just starting out into like in my job now. I mean, I managed like 45 people, and like I'll have to do huge presentations in front of wide audiences. Sometimes, I mean, I've probably presented in front of 1,000 people before on a Microsoft Teams call, not on the stage, but on a Microsoft Teams call and stuff like that. And at some point you just turn around and you think like, how the fuck did I get here? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously I've done all this work, but you kind of, there's definitely a bit of imposter syndrome that comes in where you start to doubt yourself and think, I don't know if I'm at this level. I shouldn't be in this job, or like, I've definitely had those feelings in the past, and it's the same with battle rap. Sometimes, you know, when I've been booked to go onto a big stage, definitely earlier in my career, I was kind of like fucking shit in it. So I think overcoming that imposter syndrome was massive for me, and I definitely think that doing something like I do with going on stages and battle rap made us more fearless in work scenarios and doing presentations, because I'm like, why am I scared about doing this PowerPoint deck about fucking the strategy for this in front of 20 people if I can go on stage and like get, you know, people call me mama slag and try and fucking and rapping in front of that many people, like it definitely helped us feel more comfortable in the working scenarios to the point where I really don't give a shit about anything like that anymore. So the imposter syndrome was hard. Public speaking and presentations and that, I was like, you're asking me to present on this, like I can't do that. I'm not old enough to do that. Like I'm 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know how it feels. So yeah, I think imposter syndrome is something that I overcame, and I don't really get that anymore. I'm comfortable in myself, and I know that even if I don't know something, I will be able to pick it up quickly. So yeah.
Yeah. Imposter syndrome is stuff that we've mentioned on the podcast before as well, because it's something that I've been feeling it massively recently, with obviously just starting. So if you watch the rest of the episodes that will be released before this one, episode 1, I'm all over the place. Like the intro is so bad, everything like that. But then with it being someone I knew, I kind of grew into the conversation. Second one, the hosting side of it was not that good at all. Third one was all over the place. Fourth one was probably the best I've hosted until today. Then the fifth one was alright, but I didn't prepare as much as what I probably should have. And then the sixth one was the one that I was most interested about, because the guy who I had on, Nathan, he had a podcast previously as well.
Yeah.
So with him, I done more research than I did with like the other 4 guests, everything like that, much more well prepared. Then I didn't do an episode for like a recording for like 2 weeks, I think. And I came to do his, and I was like, throughout the episode, I was all over the place, like with the questions, everything like that. And that episode, after I recorded it, it's the first time I've been like dripping a sweat. I was like, after the episode, I was like, I'm not built for this. But I was like, I'll get people booked in, I'll start. And then obviously this one has been pretty good so far compared to the others, so I'm still kind of trying to figure out that imposter syndrome stuff at the moment.
No, well, you're doing great, but it's not. It's just a natural. It's a natural thing, right? Anything you start new, you're never going to be amazing at it straight away. So it'll be interesting for you to watch. In the same way, it's interesting for me to go back and watch my very first battle to my most recent one, right? The difference in the delivery, the confidence, the presence, the everything, even just the rhythm and you'll notice it when you watch the episodes back one for one. You'll be like, wow, how fucking far you've came. And then imagine what you'll be like in 10 episodes time. Just way more comfortable. So
yeah, definitely. And we're starting to build the guests back up now as well, because I gave myself a little break to catch up with editing, because I left all my editing. I didn't do any editing for the first 5 episodes, so I left it. And then I was like, because I wasn't going to release anything till November, and I was like, nah, I need to get it to a place where I'm recording and then editing the same podcast in that same week.
Yeah.
So I've literally been like a hermit, mate. I've literally finished graft at 4, took the dog out for an hour, got back, been sat at my computer from 5 o'clock to like 10 o'clock. Like over the last 2 weeks, I've sacked off the gym and everything just to get caught up with editing, because I didn't realise how long it would take us.
Mate, as someone who edits quite a lot of, like, if you let it stack up, you might as well just get in and do it, because editing can take ages. Yeah. Even, are you learning to edit, or did you used to edit in the past?
I'm learning pretty much. I was going to say that I did used to do it, but the only stuff I ever used to do was Photoshop stuff, not Premiere. So at the minute, I'm learning it as I go. But for the podcast, it isn't too bad, because I'm not editing much.
Long form content, yeah.
Yeah, but what's taking the time, which I probably need to learn a quicker way of doing it, because I'm probably doing it the worst way possible at the moment, is clipping it for the likes of Instagram, TikTok, everything like that.
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts, stuff like that. But the way I'm doing that at the moment is not time efficient at all, so I do probably need to, because the AI one that I've got on here, it's not the best. So I'm kind of handpicking the clips at the moment, so I'm probably going to have a look at something else to see if I can do it in a little bit quicker format the way I'm doing it now.
Mate, when I try and do little clips of my battles to then promote the pay-per-view or promote like an upcoming event or whatever, you should see that I've tried to edit it, but like putting one of those speech to text things over it, does not pick up my accent at all. I'm typing out everything over and over and over. So I feel your pain. Editing's a fucking pain, to be honest.
Yeah, it is massively. It's class. It's just funny that you mentioned the imposter syndrome because it's stuff that obviously we've mentioned in previous episodes. Next one, mate. 3 people who you would invite to a dinner party who can be past or present, can be family, can be celebrities, anything like that.
So interestingly, because you've got, I can see the books behind you, and I know you've got Roy Keane there, Mourinho, Ferguson. I was gonna say Keane, but I went with Ferguson because obviously, like, I'm a Man United fan, big fan of Man United, and Newcastle as well. Don't care what people think about that, but I support both teams. It's the way it is. So I was brought up with like Fergie being worshipped in my house by my dad. So I've always, and as I've got more into like kind of football management and football coaching now, I would love to just sit and like kind of hear his wisdom and stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way I was looking at it, I was like, oh, would I put Keane or Fergie there? Because Keane would be funnier. But then Fergie, like, he doesn't do a lot of podcasts or interviews or anything like that. So I feel like he'd have so many great stories and moments to share. Yeah. But he'd also probably be quite funny at the same time. So Fergie probably, I would say.
Do you read?
I haven't read. I would be lying. I was about to say yes, and I was just like, I said that. I was like, when was the last time I read? I probably haven't read for about a year or so. But
I was going to say Fergie's autobiographies.
I've read Fergie's autobiography though. I have that. I've read books. I don't read, but I've read books. Right.
Yeah.
I need to get back into it.
All mine, as you can see, mostly are football related. So I think in that pile there, I've got Fergie, the manager, which is just different coaches and opinions, which is quite good, but it took us ages to finish it, and it's the smallest book in the list. Keane's, that's the second one of Keane. I haven't read his first one, which is quite stupid.
I've read Keane's first one.
Have you? Is it good?
Can't remember, mate.
Oh,
so long. I bought a lot of football books, like Gerard's book and that.
Yeah. Carlo Ancelotti's, mate. Do you know if you like on about your management?
Yeah.
If you haven't already and you can get back into it, I highly recommend the Carlo Ancelotti one because his management and everything like that is unbelievable. Obviously, the teams that he's managed is ridiculous anyways, but talks about how he moved Pearl from an attacking midfielder to a defensive midfielder just to fit Kaka in the squad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's really good. If anything, that's the book that I would recommend.
Yeah.
Then I've just started reading Heroes of Olympus, which is a nerdy one. It's like follows on from Percy Jackson series.
I like the Percy Jackson series, but you don't need to talk about nerd to me. I'm a nerd. I'm a word nerd. I love everything nerdy. So.
So who's the other two then?
Actually, I had Theo Von. Do you know who Theo Von is?
I do, yeah. I watch his podcast. Yeah,
the American comedian. He has a lot of podcasts. I just love that type of humour. I just love how weird it is, and I think that he'd be good fun at a dinner party. I would like to see how he would interact with Fergie as well, probably. So Theo Von would be my second, and then my third. I had a little bit of a curveball because I would like it to be Albert Einstein,
okay,
right? But I would like it to be Albert Einstein if he was born maybe in the 80s or. So like obviously Einstein's like theory of relativity and quantum mechanics, and like I'm really interested in physics, which might surprise you, but I'm like really interested in physics. I feel like Albert Einstein, if he was born in this age, would have so many theories about the way the world works and where the world's going and in space and fucking is the Earth actually flat or not. He'd probably be able to tell you, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that he would have so many crazy theories about the world and would probably so I thought it would be interesting to have him then. It's pointless me getting him from the past because everything he's ever thought is written down in books and books and books and books I already know, but like I would want to know what his thoughts on the world are now.
Yeah, especially in modern day, that would be a sick one, to be fair.
Yeah.
And finally, for question wise, mate, one bit of advice that you would give to your younger self?
It is kind of related to imposter syndrome, actually, and something that you mentioned before about the watching like kind of your old podcasts back. I would say take more risks and don't be afraid to fail, because I think that everyone can be so scared of failing that it kind of stifles them into not doing anything, or not fucking not pursuing a passion or something like that. Like, you just take more risks, and if you fail or if it doesn't work out, then who cares? You know, you just start again.
Yeah.
We're all significant, but we're so insignificant at the same time that one little mistake that we make, and it's just fucking it's just a speck in the universe. It doesn't matter. Like, I think I spent so long telling myself that I wouldn't be able to be a battle rapper, or I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be able to do that. No, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, if I'd just gone for it earlier, like, who knows where I could have been? Because, like, look at the way it's went now, and look at, like, I'm probably one of the best in the UK at the moment, like, easily. So I think take more risks and don't be afraid of failing, because you learn from failures.
Exactly. I love that one as well. That one's been said a few times, to be fair, about like the advice for the younger self, and it's one that I truly believe as well, because especially when you're younger, because you've got less to lose.
Well,
So
it's mad, because they say that older people should be more conservative, but like, yeah, you older people, sorry, are more conservative and like reserved, and take less risks because you got more to lose. But then when I think about my younger self, I actually took less risks. Fucking when I was probably 21, more risks with stupid fucking shit, but like less risks that actually meant like I was gonna get anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, because I've done the same thing, mate. I wanted to start a podcast. For how long have I lived here? I think it was 3 years ago I first mentioned about doing one,
aye,
and I just
you
didn't.
put it off. Aye.
Like, I wanted a studio, then I was looking at how much it costs and stuff like that, and then didn't know anything about editing, didn't want to like fork out on paying for Adobe and stuff like that. And then last year I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm moving into a new house, so I'm going to do the spare bedroom to like a mini studio, get people like into actually do in person. And I was like, I'm going to have to fork out on cameras and everything. Then it took a bit longer doing the move than what I originally thought when I bought the house. So then I was like, then I met somebody and like just didn't do anything for the podcast for the full time that I was with her.
That's the way it works.
Nothing to do with her, just in case she's watching. I am not putting blame. It was just I didn't prioritise it the way I should have. And then this year I was like, do you know what? Fuck it, I'll just do it remotely. Then get all the guests on, because it just means that it's less fucking about for people, so it'll probably be a bit easier to get guests. And then just kind of run with it. And now I'm kind of looking at ways I can make it different. So I've got a few things planned, and already I've got things planned where I actually need to get the cameras and stuff like that, because one of them's kind of going to be kind of say or shot it style video.
Yeah.
Just obviously without the drink, we're going to think of other stuff to do, because obviously I'm in a non-drinking phase at the moment. Currently on 55 days without any alcohol.
Well done, mate. I'm kind of trying to tone it down after Leeds Festival and my birthday 2 weeks. So I'll be drinking next weekend at the event, definitely.
Yeah.
But like I'm gonna try and have a chilled run up to Christmas, to be honest, as well. But well done on 55 days. Bet you feel mint.
No.
No.
Mate, I swear down. I don't know if it's just because I've had like the last couple of weeks I've had like a lot of stress trying to catch up with stuff, and I'm not sleeping properly.
Aye.
But I'm going to carry it on and do like 30 days after I reach the 60-day target, and do another 30 days to get to 90, because then I'll be caught up on my editing. I can sleep properly, I can go to the gym properly, everything like that. But
Aye.
I've stopped alcohol, and my diet's a lot better now because I do meal prep. So I pay 150 quid a fortnight, 105 quid a fortnight, sorry, for 20 meals.
Oh,
so it sorts as Monday to Friday, for 2 weeks, and then 210 quid for 4 weeks worth of food isn't too bad, because
that's
obviously
good. I think that's me and my lass must spend about 150 quid a week or something on food, you know. Like,
mate, that's what I had done it, because I was paying that much, because obviously there's me and my dad. I was paying that much, and then I was doing like spending the time cooking and stuff like that, and I was like, I love cooking, but I hate cooking at the same time because I don't
Yeah.
have the time.
Yeah. See, that's a relaxer for me at the end of the day. Me cooking, like
Yeah.
I like getting into that mode and doing the
Ah,
cook. But
your meals look class, to be fair.
I
That's what I'm
like
saying.
I love cooking. I'm trying to. That's one thing that I've put off for ages. Right, is like trying to learn different things and trying to cook, trying to learn how to cook properly. I've always been a good cook, but I
Yeah.
want to try and take it to a next level. That's something that I'm set a target that I'm trying to set myself and shit. I
Love that.
always say shit like that. Oh, I'm gonna make a cooking TikTok, or I'm gonna try and do something like. But
I was just about to say, because with the podcast, you can expect a tripod and a spare camera phone coming to games now as well, because I'm going to start vlogging to go alongside the podcast.
all right, nice.
So
For the
on a
game.
Sunday, there's going to be a high chance that a little tripod's going to be set up just to do me. I don't know if you've seen him, that like that George Plant on TikTok.
Yeah, yeah.
Where he's just got it in the dugout, kind of on him while he's shouting instructions and that, because all the lads say that we don't say anything on the sideline, where I'm sure half the time they're just not listening.
So they choose not to.
Yeah.
Wait, fucking don't get me in any of those shots if I've been out the night before, because I'll be looking that'll be looking shocking.
So just never in the shots.
Just never in the shots now.
Nah, but I'm not doing it often, to be fair, but I probably will do it a couple of times. And then obviously we've got Callum who in the team now as well, who's also
Aye.
a YouTuber.
Good
So
plan.
we've got a team full of fucking content creators now.
One day we all will be.
Yeah, content creator RFC. Now that's everything for the podcast, mate. It's been unbelievable having you on, and it's been good chatting to you about the battle raps as well, because like I said, it's something I've got zero experience in, nothing about pretty much. So it's been good to find out like more about that on like a deeper level.
Yeah.
So just to sign it off, mate, where can everyone find you on social media? Our best place to obviously see the videos, stuff like that.
Fucking hell, 2 seconds. I don't know what my Twitter is. Jamie_Mav on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter. I do a lot of me promotional content on there, because that's where the majority of the conversations about battle rap are, like, rather than like the likes of Instagram and stuff like that. It's more on Twitter. So Jamie_Mav on Twitter. You can go and watch Maverick versus on Premier Battles, or on Gift of the Gab. Just type Maverick versus into YouTube, or Maverick versus in battle rap, and you can go watch any of them. And of course, any events, any tickets or anything, just messages. If it's something that you're interested in and you're watching this and you're thinking, fuck me, I didn't realise there was actually a battle rap scene in the UK, or this happened, or you just love 8 Mile and you want to know more about it, you can always just drop us a message.
I love the reference to 8 Mile one.
Actually, to be fair, by the time this is out, so if you're starting to release them from November, did you say?
Well, it'll be October, mate, so yours will probably air in like November time.
Right, go and watch Maverick versus Whispers on members only. Go and watch Maverick versus CJA on Premier Battles, because I've got 2 battles coming up in the next 5 weeks. So
Perfect.
Sweet. Thank you, mate.
Sweet,
Appreciate it.
what I'll do as well, mate, is in the description on YouTube, I'll link everything on there. So for anyone who's watching on YouTube, make sure to watch Mav's stuff on on YouTube online. Check out his last 2 battles that he's just mentioned, and also drop him a follow as well, because he does share bits on his social media. I don't actually have you on Twitter, but I'll make sure I follow you as well on that.
I'll work it, bro.
For everybody else, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're on YouTube, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe. Yeah, I'll start that again. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to any of our streaming platform, give us a 5-star review and a follow. No clue what it does, but I'm sure it helps.